Okay, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, very good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, very good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, good morning. Okay. So, okay, in the part of the consumer behavior, after the demand and the elasticity of demand, the next concept is utility. Okay, the next concept is utility. So what is the meaning of the utility? How we will get the utility? Okay, first of all, what is the meaning of the utility? And how we will get the utility? Okay, utility nothing but it is the satisfaction getting when we are consuming either commodities or services. Okay, either commodities or services. Okay, we are consuming commodities every day. After the consuming commodities, we are getting some utility, some satisfaction. That satisfaction is known as the utility. Okay, for example, you are eating fruit. Okay, and now we are eating fruits and we are eating food. So whenever we are eating fruits or food, we are getting some level of satisfaction. So that the satisfaction is known as the utility. Okay, that is called utility, what we can say. Okay, yeah, whenever we are talking about this concept, okay, whenever we are talking about this concept, there are two types of the utility. Utility, okay, can be divided into two categories. One is cardinal utility. and another one is ordinal utility. Okay, cardinal utility and ordinal utility. That is the point of what we are getting. So cardinal utility and ordinal utility. So here, whenever we are talking about this type of the utility, what do you call? See, already I told you, when we are consuming goods and services, we are getting the satisfaction, that is known as the utility. That utility can be divided into two categories, that is cardinal utility and ordinal utility. Cardinal utility means the level of the satisfaction getting by consuming the goods and services is called utility. That utility can be measured in terms of the number. Whatever the utility, whatever the satisfaction we are getting by consuming the goods, that level of the satisfaction, okay, that level of the satisfaction or that level of the satisfaction can be measured in terms of the number. Okay, like okay, so see, for example, it explains, the cardinal utility explains that the satisfaction level, okay, the satisfaction level after consuming any commodities or any services, any commodity or any services, it can be scaled in terms of the countable numbers. Okay, that numbers, that utility can be explained the what is called in terms of the countable numbers. So that means we are getting this much utility. Okay, this much utility. So the measurement, there is a unit, there is a measurement unit called utils. Utils is a measurement to measure the utility. For example, you are measuring the weight in terms of the kgs or kilograms. Like that, we are measuring the distance in the name of the centimeters or kilometers. Like that, whatever the utility we are getting, that utility can be measured in the name of the utils. That is a measurement name. Okay, based on the cardinal utility approach, law of diminishing marginal utility and law of equimodularity was developed by Alfred Marshall. Okay, this utility can be measured in terms of the utils. So utils is a name of the measurement. Okay, utils is a name of the measurement to measure the, okay, utils anesi, utility anesi cheppadam jarugutunnadi. So here actually, when we are talking about, see, already I told you, based on the cardinal utility, ordinal utility concept is different. It will come next class. Ordinal utility means when we are consuming the commodities and getting the utility, that utility cannot be measured in the countable number. It can only compared. Okay, we can only compare. But in case of this cardinal utility, we can measure in terms of the countable number. So this law of diminishing marginal utility, so it was developed by, already I told you, Alfred Marshall. Okay, this concept was developed by what is called Alfred Marshall. So the law of diminishing marginal utility states that the additional utility gained from an increase in the consumption decreases with each subsequent increase in the level of the consumption. Okay, according this theory, okay, according the what is called law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, according to the law of diminishing marginal utility. So what we can say? So here the law of diminishing marginal utility it will explain that whenever we are consuming more number of commodities, the utility getting by consuming the additional commodity will decrease gradually. So that is the point here. So according to this theory, that the additional utility gained, extra utility gained from an increase in the consumption, increasing the consumption, it is going to decrease each and every subsequent in the level of the consumption. So that is what the law of diminishing marginal utility is going to be explained. So this theory is depending on some assumptions. All the theories in the microeconomics are depends on this some assumptions actually. So like assumptions nothing but, so according this theory, according this theory, the homogeneous product, whatever the goods we are consuming, that goods are homogeneous product. There is no difference between color, there is no difference between quantity, there is no difference between in taste, preferences, etc. All commodities are equal priorities, equal taste. Okay, whatever the goods consumed by the consumer, so is commodities are homogeneous product without any differences. All the commodities are giving the equal level of the satisfaction. And there is no change in the taste, as I said already. No change in the taste. Taste and behavior of the consumer is common. Okay, and there should be constant in the prices of the commodities. The price always is equal to marginal utility of that commodity according to this theory. Okay, marginal utility is the same and the price is the same. The price is equal to marginal utility. If the marginal utility will decreases, the price also will decrease. Marginal utility increasing means the prices also increasing. So the constant prices we can see, and there is no gap in the consumption. Okay, there is no gap in the consumption, what we can say. So here, when the consumer is consuming two or more number of commodities, okay, two or more number of commodities, so here, from one commodity to another commodity, there is no gap. There is no gap. And there is a rational consumer. Rational consumer means here, whatever the utility is getting, he has to give the exact information. Suppose you are my student, I am your teacher. Suppose I given one commodity to you, after consuming that commodity, I am asking feedback to you that how is this commodity? Okay, then you have to say that exactly information that if it is good, good, otherwise no. Since my teacher asked that if I will say that it is not good, then that means you are not giving the good information to me, exact information to me. Okay, so మొహమాటం లేకుండా ఉన్నది ఉన్నట్లు చెప్పాలన్నాడు చెప్పడం తెలుగులో చెప్పాలంటే మొహమాటం లేకుండా మొహం మీద ఉన్నది ఉన్నట్లు చెప్పడం బాగుందంటే బాగుందనాలి లేదంటే లేదనాలి. So that is called a rational consumer. So exactly he has to give the information what he is getting exactly. Okay, like that the consumer should be behave like that. Okay, that is called a rational consumer. And so based on these assumptions, this theory was developed actually. This theory was developed in the country. So developed by the Alfred Marshall. Okay, whenever we are talking about this theory, here there are two important points. One is the total utility and another is marginal utility. These are the 2 points you have to understand. Total utility nothing but TU means total utility, nothing but it is the utility obtained from the consuming all products. How many goods you are consuming? By consuming all the products, whatever the utility we are getting, okay, whatever the utility we are getting, automatically, so this what is called utility can be that is known as the total utility. For example, you are consuming 5 commodities. Whatever the utility you are getting from by consuming all these 5 products is known as the total utility. Okay, like what is the marginal utility? Marginal utility, marginal, nothing but additional. Marginal, nothing but additional. Okay, marginal utility means additional utility. Okay, it is additional utility by consuming the additional commodities. Okay, by consuming the additional commodities. For example, okay, here there is a one commodity maybe called apple or mango, some commodity. Okay, by consuming this one apple, okay, by consuming the one apple, by consuming the one apple, he is getting, okay, he is getting 100 utils of the utility. Take for example. Okay, immediately, without time gap, the consumer started eating the second apple after the completion of the first apple. Okay, second apple, that means 2 apples were consumed. By consuming 2 apples, he got the total utility is 18. So here he consumed one extra commodity, that is additional commodity. Okay, extra goods or additional commodity. So by consuming this extra commodity, so he got how much extra utility? From the first commodity he got 10. By consuming 2 commodities he got 18. That means what is the extra utility got by the person through the second commodity is 18 minus 10, nothing but 8 is called marginal utility of second commodity. Okay, marginal utility of the second commodity. So like that, marginal utility, nothing but it is additional utility by consuming the additional commodities. So that's why marginal utility means total utility of n to commodity minus total utility of n minus 1. Okay, n minus 1. Total utility of n minus total utility of n minus 1 commodity. That is what we are discussing this one. Okay, suppose n means number of, for example, total utility of n, that is if we say n is equal to 5, by consuming 5 commodities, the consumer got around like 50 utils, take example. Okay, 50 utils. Okay, n minus n. N minus 1 nothing but 5 minus 1 is equal to 4th commodity. By consuming 4 commodities, the total utility of 4th commodity may be around, take for example 42 or 43 utils. So then marginal utility means total utility of n minus total utility of n minus 1. Marginal utility means total utility of n means 5. 5 commodities total utility was 50 minus n minus 1 means 4. By consuming 4 commodities, the total utility may be around 43. So the marginal utility of the fifth commodity is 50 minus 43 is equal to 7 utils. Okay, like that we can get the marginal utility or what you call additional utility, we can say. Okay, additional utility. This is the point. So the same manner we can explain in what is called this table. Okay, by consuming one commodity, okay, by consuming one commodity, 20 utils we are getting second commodity 35 utils, third commodity 45 utils, fourth commodity 50 utils, fifth commodity 50 utils, sixth commodity 45 utils, seventh commodity 35 utils. This is called total utility. See, for example, when the commodities are increasing, the total utility is increasing. But after some level, the level of satisfaction will get the maximum level. Okay, the maximum level, it will be maximum level. That is we can see. Okay, here, when we are talking about this particular aspect, okay, when we are talking about this particular aspect, take for example apple. You take without time gap, you are eating apples. First apple, after eating the first apple, what should be your feeling? Yes, it's a good. Immediately without time gap, you taken a second apple. What is your feeling? Yes, somewhat okay. But immediately you taken third apple to eat. So then ayo, what is this? Tinadam avasarama. And e type of feeling vasthundi. This type of the feeling you will get. Okay, if you give the same immediately after the third, fourth, and fifth apple, so you will get no, I don't want it there. That means you are not getting utility. If you will give like that one more apple, instead of the satisfaction, you will get the dissatisfaction. You will get the dissatisfaction instead of the satisfaction. Okay, so that's why the level of the satisfaction will come down. This is called marginal utility. Marginal utility means additional utility. So this is, so the differences between these two, this one. Okay, that 35 minus 20 is equal to 15. 45 minus 35 is equal to 10. 50 minus 45 is equal to 5. 50 minus 50 is equal to 0. This is 45 minus 50 is equal to minus 5. 35 minus 45 is equal to minus 10. Minus 10. What is this one? Okay, if we will explain the same thing, we will get the diagrams will be like this. This is called total utility. This is called marginal utility. Okay, this is called marginal utility. Okay, based on that table, we can draw this one. On the OX axis, we can say number of commodities. Whatever the commodities you are taking, okay, that number of commodities we can see. Okay, this is on the OY axis, we can see total utility and marginal utility we can measure in this one. Okay, so when there is a number of first commodity, so there is around 20 utils, something like that. When is a second commodity, there is a 35, something like that. When is a third commodity, like a 40, like a fifth commodity 50, and a sixth commodity we can get 50 again. So then 45, 35 like that. If we add all this one, we can get the total utility curve. Okay, based on this table only, like this, we can see this one. Okay, like so this is called total utility. Total utility curve. Total utility curve. So that's why whenever we are talking about this particular one, a marginal utility, when there is a first commodity 20, second commodity 15, something like that. Okay, sixth commodity like 5. Okay, third commodity, okay, 10. Fifth commodity 0. When it is the maximum level, it is 1. So next minus 10 minus something like that. So if we add all this one, we will get a marginal utility curve. When the total utility is the maximum, the marginal utility will be on the y-axis. Please remember. When the total utility is increasing, the marginal utility will be started the decreases. When the total utility will be the maximum in the peak level, the marginal utility will be on the y-axis. When the total utility will be decreasing started the decrease, the marginal utility will be in the negative manner. Marginal utility will be in the negative manner, we can say. So this is the point what we are going to be discuss. Okay, to law of diminishing marginal utility. So this law of diminishing marginal utility, this is. Okay, here the law of equimarginal utility, one more thing was there that is not there in our syllabus. So here in the microeconomics, in the consumer behavior, the one more concept is known as the consumer surplus. What is consumer surplus? It is one of the important for the examination point of view. Consumer surplus. This concept was developed by one engineer called Dupit, French engineer. This concept was developed by French engineer. When he was developing this concept, 1844. Okay, 1844, he was developed this concept. That is Dupit. He was developed that concept. Okay, later it was of course developed by Marshall. Please remember, initially the theories may be developed by many people, other people, but finally it was finished by Alfred Marshall only. All microeconomic theories, okay, all microeconomic theories were finished by this Alfred Marshall. Even law of diminishing marginal utility, it was first developed by Gaussian, H.S. Gaussian. Later it was developed Givons. Finally it was finished by Alfred Marshall. Like that, each and every theory in the microeconomics, finally it was finished. Finishing touch was given by the Alfred Marshall only. Like that in the consumer surplus also, he may be developed by Dupit or someone, but finally the Alfred Marshall was given the major definition. So here, what is consumer surplus? Consumer surplus nothing but the differences between ready to pay and actually paid by price in the market by the consumer or buyer is known as the consumer surplus. For example, your favorite movie was released today. Assume your favorite movie was released today. Okay, you want to watch that movie first day itself. That is your motive. Then you will assume that if the ticket is 500, I am ready to pay. If the ticket is 400, you are ready to pay. Like that, you assumed before going to the theater. So here, to watch that movie, how much amount? Okay, how much amount you are ready to pay? 500 only. Okay, 500 only. 500 rupees you are ready to pay. But you taken the amount, you are ready to pay this 500 rupees to you went theater. There, unexpectedly, the ticket is available to only 400. The actual payment was only 400. But you are ready to pay 500, but the actual payment was 400. The difference between these two, 500 minus 400 is equal to 100. This is known as consumer surplus. Okay, the difference between ready to pay and actual paid price in the market by the consumer or buyer is known as the consumer surplus. So you are going to the visible market. Okay, you are going for the vegetable market, and you assumed that I want to purchase this much commodity if this much is the price. Okay, you want purchase this much quantity of the commodities if this is the price. Okay, for example, if the price is 20 rupees, you want to purchase 2 kgs of banana or 2 kgs of tomato, something like that. That means for 2 kgs, how much amount you are ready to pay? 40 rupees. This is called ready to pay. Okay, ready to pay. But you went the market, there the commodity price was around 17 rupees. 17 rupees. So for 2 commodities, for 2 kgs, how much amount you are paying? 34 rupees. This 34 rupees is known as the actual payment. Okay, actual payment. So this you are ready to pay 40 rupees for 2 kgs, but you paid only 34 rupees for 2 kgs. So this is difference between these two is called 7 rupees. This 7 rupees is known as the consumer surplus. If the in the market, each kg tomato price is, for example, 22 rupees. To purchase the 2 kgs, how much amount you are paying? 44 rupees. Okay, your consumer surplus is 40 minus 44 is equal to minus 4. Minus 4 is your consumer surplus. That is, okay, the consumer surplus is nothing but the ready to pay minus actual payment is called a consumer surplus. So that's why this consumer surplus diagram we can explain like this. This is called, of course, OY axis, where we can see price or marginal utility. Okay, price always equal to marginal utility. On the OX axis, we are measuring the quantity, that is number of commodities. Okay, this is the actual price, but this is the assumed price. OD is expected price, that is ready to pay. Ready to pay from year to year, that is OD. But you paid only OP. OP is the actual price. Okay, OP is the actual price. So this is the area, that is OD minus OP is equal to PD is the, okay, PD is the OD minus OP is equal to PD is the consumer surplus. Okay, consumer surplus for one commodities. Like that, how many goods we are? OM commodities. Okay, OD into OM. OD nothing but expected price. For how many goods? OM. So nothing but OD SM is the amount you are ready to pay. Okay, ready to pay this much. Okay, this much amount you are ready to pay. OD SM is ready to pay. But how much you paid for each and every commodity? You paid only this one, OP. OP into for how many commodities? OM. That's why OP SM is actual payment. Actual payment. This is the actual payment. But this is the amount you are ready to pay. But this is the amount only ready to pay. You pay. So the from this one, if you subtract this one, so this is called remaining part. This is called consumer surplus. Okay, OD.
So what is SM?
I will come. OD SM minus OP SM is equal to PDS is called consumer surplus. This area is called consumer surplus. Tell me, what is your doubt?
SM, sir, SM.
Yes. This, so just to be written like that. This is OM is the product. Okay, yeah. Since it is the demand curve, the price curve, marginal utility means price curve. Okay, since you are ready to pay this much for each commodity, the total means this will come like that. This is the amount you are ready to pay for the total product. But the only you paid this amount. So this is called consumer surplus. Consumer surplus. Suppose here I am asking one question for you, all you people that. Suppose the price for the commodity was increasing. You tell me that consumer surplus is going to be increase or decrease? Hello? Huh?
Decrease.
I'm not getting increase or decrease?
Decrease, sir.
Decrease.
Yes,
Decrease.
exactly. Okay, the consumer surplus is going to be decrease if the prices increase. Okay, if the price decreases, the consumer surplus will be
Increase.
so that is the concept here, the consumer surplus, nothing but. Okay, this is the consumer surplus. Okay, market surplus or consumer surplus or one commodity surplus or for all commodity surplus. So like that we can see this concept particularly. Okay, this what is called a consumer surplus. Okay, please on this concept, if you have any doubt, please ask me.
Three, 4, 10.